the fact that Biden's losing support among black voters. He's not doing well in the swing states. You're right. It's not just among black voters. If we're here in July, end of July, coming up to the convention, you think Democrats should swap Biden out and make a last-minute play for somebody else?
I said that they should have swapped Biden out last year. When I said it last year, everybody acted like I was, said something so crazy. But I was just looking at the polls, and I'm listening to people, and I'm seeing not people be energized and not be inspired. And if you're up against a candidate like Trump, who has all of these criminal charges. You saw him, lead an attempted coup of this country. You've heard him say things like, we should suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. If you're getting your ass kicked in polls to that guy, if it looks like it's going to be too close for comfort to that guy, you might need to switch candidates.
In your book, Get Honest or Die Lying, you talk about the influence of hip-hop. And when it comes to hip-hop, of course, many people think of Diddy as one of the pioneers. And at one point, you were not happy that his legacy was being destroyed. Let me play this piece of sound.
I don't know, man. I just don't like it. I mean, I don't like it just because it's sad. Like, how many people's legacies have we watched burn to the ground? From the Russell Simmons, from,
but it's
Diddy.
good.
These guys provided the soundtrack to our lives. They contributed to culture in real ways before we knew any of this. No, you have feelings, you have mixed emotions.
And then the video came out after that. He's now issued his sort of apology. Cassie's come out again. Have your thoughts on that changed?
Well, my thoughts, even in that clip that you just played, in context, I said it's sad to see these people's legacies being destroyed based off, at the time, alleged poor choices. Now we know that those poor choices aren't alleged. We saw the video. So, yeah, it still is, sad to see them, not do the work on themselves, have all that unhealed trauma, projecting that pain and that hurt onto a woman. So, yeah, he put himself in that situation. And yes, that is still very sad to see. It's sad all across the board. I don't know why we act like, it's just one emotion when it comes to things like this. Because somebody like, Diddy, yeah, we're lying to ourselves if we say he didn't provide the soundtrack to our lives. I don't know him on a personal level. I just know the professional accolades, which were very inspiring to somebody like me. Him having his own record label, him having his own, vodka, like becoming a billionaire. Like, those were things that were like, wow, that's the American dream in a lot of ways, right? And to be doing that from hip hop, that was something that was commendable, but we didn't know him as a person.
So are you now angry at him, disappointed in him about the fact that this guy you admired so much has turned out to be a pretty bad guy?
Angry at him, disappointed in him. I don't know if I know him to be angry at him or disappointed in him. I think what bothers me the most is just constantly seeing people make poor decisions and poor choices that cause them to self-destruct. And I think that even with this situation, one thing that I think we get lost in is the celebrity of it all. I think you have to focus on the issue, not the individual. Whatever happens to him is going to happen. He's going to have to deal with the consequences of his actions. And you see it happening now. Like, I don't know if that's going to lead to him, being arrested or whatever, but the empire is falling. It's over professionally. The only thing he can do is go out there and try to get his soul right. But what about the issue of domestic violence?
Right.
What about the issue of patriarchy? What about the issue of, unhealed trauma inside of people that is causing brothers to, cause that kind of harm, to women? Those are the things that we should be talking about, because there's somebody, as I'm talking right now, there's a woman out there probably getting beat up or assaulted, by a man, and her story isn't going to be on the news. And that, culture of men doing those kind of things, committing violence to women, is still going to be going on. We need to be having conversations about that. Yeah, solutions. We know what the problem is, but if we continue just to focus on the individual, we'll get caught up in that. You'll be asking me questions like, so should Peloton be getting rid of Diddy's music? It's like, F Diddy. Like, he's going to have to deal with the consequence of his actions. But what about everybody else that still has to deal with domestic violence? That's women that still have to deal with the patriarchy, women that still have to deal with, men that have unhealed trauma projecting that onto them. Like, that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to ask you about Peloton, so. Charlamagne Tha God, thank you.
Absolutely.
This is the book. It's Get Honest or Die Lying.
Why small talk sucks.
By the way, book tour June 4th in Washington, D.C., June 6th here in New York City. Head to whysmalltalksucks.com for tickets. Great to have you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.